Hello everyone, I'm Sab Louise. Welcome to my video presentation for my EDDE 204 FMAT. And I will be presenting my assessment prototype, assessing Angular fundamentals with interactive formative strategies. So before we start, I'm going to go through with the overview first. The first one is the background and FMA 1 recap, and then what is the purpose of the assessment. And then after that, I'll discuss with you the structure of the assessment strategy and then the scoring system criteria. Then the next one is the educational technologies. I'm going to discuss also the reporting system, and then we'll proceed to the learning theories, and lastly is the issues and problems. The journal article I selected for FMA1 examines the use of technology enhanced formative assessments or the TEFA, student response systems or the SRS to provide feedback and increase learning outcomes. So the author followed a backward design approach, which involves starting with the end in mind by first defining the desired learning outcomes. Pre-tests and post-tests were conducted to evaluate the effectiveness of these interventions. So for my assessment strategy, I will apply a similar approach but with a combination of interactive learning technologies to assess students' skills and understanding of Angular concepts. So I chose to focus on Angular for several reasons. While my current role involves creating training materials for various applications used internally in our workplace, much of that content is specific to our internal systems and is therefore confidential. While Angular is a widely used framework and is also employed in many workplaces like mine, by focusing on Angular, I can develop a prototype while maintaining confidentiality regarding my workplace specific technologies. So I have included a definition of terms section because my assessment strategy involves technical concepts that may be hard to grasp. So I've broken it down so it can be easily understood. So the first one here is the front end. So it is part of a website or an application that users interact with directly. It is what you see and click on your screen. So think of the front end as the storefront of a shop. So it's everything you see when you walk in, like the display windows, the layout, and the products on the shelves. Next one, we have here the framework. So it is a set of tools and code that helps developers build the parts of a website that users see and interact with. So imagine building a house. A framework is like the blueprints that provide structure and guidelines. Lastly, we have the JavaScript or the TypeScript. So JavaScript is a programming language that is commonly used to create interactive effects within web browsers. So now let's proceed to what is Angular. Angular is an example of a front-end framework. So it is created by Google and used to build dynamic and interactive web applications. So we have here the Google Arts and Culture. It is one of the examples of websites built using Angular. So it is an immersive website where you can spend hours exploring. Alright, so that's about it. I hope you further understand how Angular is used in building websites, just like what I've presented to you, which is the Google Arts and Culture. Alright, so now let's proceed to the target learners. So the target learners for this training are new developers who already have a foundational understanding of JavaScript and TypeScript but are new to Angular. So as part of my key performance metrics as an instructional designer in my current company, I am responsible for conducting annual training to keep our team updated with the latest technological advancements and improve our departmental process globally. So in our roles within an international bank, we focus on web development using SharePoint and continuously integrate artificial intelligence tools, virtual reality, and metaverse technologies to stay competitive. So this training ensures that our digital banking services and user experiences are cutting edge. Additionally, this training can also be applied to college students in their senior or third year. So it provides them with the necessary skills and knowledge to enter the workforce, particularly in roles that involve web development or software engineering. Upon successful completion of the Angular fundamentals and passing the assessments, they will be ready to proceed with learning more complex topics, ensuring they are well equipped to contribute effectively to our projects. What challenges might be encountered when teaching complex topics in programming? So there are often learners who lack confidence in their abilities, and this can significantly impact their learning outcomes. The goal is to increase motivation and show continuous feedback so they can know the areas they need to improve. One of the major challenges in learning these topics is the need to grasp many interrelated concepts simultaneously. So for instance, before diving into Angular, learners must have a basic understanding of programming languages like JavaScript, and this is like how before a teacher can teach advanced algebra, students must first understand basic arithmetic and algebraic principles. Without these foundational knowledge, the more complex concepts can become overwhelming and difficult to understand. These can lead to high cognitive load, especially for beginners, making it harder for them to learn effectively. The programming requires quick progression through the first three learning levels of Bloom's taxonomy, moving quickly from knowledge and comprehension to application. This rapid progression requires frequent recall of topics through formative assessments and hands-on practice with coding tasks, allowing students to develop the skills and fluency needed to tackle and solve increasingly complex programming challenges. So what are the learning outcomes for this? First one is to understand and apply Angular's core concepts, including components, modules, and services. And then the next one is to develop practical solutions to common web development challenges using Angular. Lastly, design and implement dynamic interactive web applications using Angular's framework. So, what is the purpose of assessment? First one is to provide timely feedback and adjust instruction based on learners' needs. Next one is to ensure learners recall fundamental concepts and stay engaged and self-regulated throughout the training. Third one is skill development, or to build a solid foundation in Angular before moving on to more complex projects. So, the assessment strategy aligns with three purposes of assessment. The first one is the assessment for learning. Next one is assessment as learning, and then the assessment of learning. So for the assessment of learning, the purpose focuses on using assessment to provide continuous feedback that helps learners improve their understanding and skills. So in this context, it ensures that learners recall fundamental concepts and stay engaged and self-regulated throughout the training. Next one is the timely feedback allows learners to identify strengths and areas for improvement, guiding their learning process. Alright, so now let's talk about the assessment as learning. This purpose emphasizes the role of assessment in encouraging learners to actively participate in the learning process through self-assessment and reflection. By incorporating interactive formative assessments, learners can monitor their own progress, set learning goals, and adjust their learning strategies accordingly. These foster self-regulation and helps build a solid foundation in Angular. To support this, criteria will also be established beforehand, providing clear expectations and benchmarks for students who assess their own work effectively. Now let's proceed to the assessment of learning. Assessment of learning evaluates learners' overall performance and proficiency upon completing a learning module or course. For the Angular Fundamental course, this assessment focuses on measuring learners' final understanding of key concepts and skills. In the context of my prototype strategy, the post-test serves as a tool to assess the extent of proficiency learners have achieved in Angular fundamentals by the end of the course. It provides a snapshot of their learning outcomes and helps determine the overall effectiveness of the formative assessments and instructional methods used throughout the course. This evaluation also identifies areas where additional support or review may be needed. So for the prototype structure, the assessment instrument in my prototype, I've drawn inspiration from the FMA1 article, which effectively utilized both pre-test and post-test. In my assessment strategy, I've incorporated a similar approach. We begin with a pre-test aimed at assessing learners' existing knowledge across JavaScript, TypeScript, and Angular fundamentals. This initial assessment helps gauge their understanding of these key areas, allowing the identification of which concepts they are already familiar with and which may require more focus, so that I can tailor the instruction to address any gaps and ensure that the instruction is well aligned with their needs from the very start. Let's now talk about assessment technologies. In our Angular Fundamental course, we are leveraging a variety of educational technologies to create an engaging and effective learning environment. Each tool plays a crucial role in different aspects of the instructional process. The first tool is the Zoom. This will be used for weekly live sessions where core concepts will be taught, questions can be addressed immediately, and students can engage in discussion and collaborative activities. Next one is the Formative. It is an interactive learning platform that enables instructors to create quizzes in different types. In this prototype, it will be employed to conduct formative assessments such as MCQ, true or false questions, and short answer quizzes after each lecture. Last one is the Scrimba. It is a both course provider and an interactive coding platform. Scrimba will be used for delivering coding assignments, so the learners will have access to interactive tutorials created by the teacher to allow them to engage with the code in real time. This is the simplified timeline of the Angular fundamentals, which is scheduled for 4 weeks. This program focuses on the foundational aspects of Angular to prepare participants for more advanced topics in Angular. So we start with defining learning goals. For the first week, we'll introduce Angular CLI, components, and templates. We will begin with a pre-test to understand participants' current knowledge levels. This week will focus on setting the foundation for the course. During the second week, we'll cover topics such as data binding and directives, as well as services and dependency injection or the DI, and the participants will engage in assessments like quizzes and practical exercises to reinforce their learning. Personalized feedback will be provided via email to each participant, helping them to understand their progress and areas for improvement. In week 3, we'll explore routing and navigation along with HTTP communication. This will include practical assessments and coding tasks to ensure participants can apply these concepts effectively. Again, feedback will be sent to participants via email, offering personalized insights and suggestions. The final week will be dedicated to reviewing key concepts from the previous weeks, and will address any remaining questions and conduct a post-test to evaluate participants' understanding. This week helps consolidate the learning and prepare participants for future applications of their knowledge. Personalized feedback on the post-test will be provided via email. Throughout the training, feedback is a crucial component. After each week's assessments, participants will receive personalized feedback through email, which will include their results, strengths, and areas for improvement. Based on this feedback, adjustments will be made to the instructional approach for the following week. This ensures that the training is responsive to participants' needs and continuously improving. So I'm going to present to you the Formative platform that I'm going to use here. This is the teacher's dashboard view. You can launch a quiz, start a space race, or do an exit ticket. To create a quiz, go to library and click add quiz, and you'll be given 4 options: the blank quiz, generate questions using AI, copy paste from another resource, and import quiz. For demonstration purposes, I'll choose blank quiz. Here you can also select either multiple choice, true or false, or short answer. So let's enter test and select a correct answer and save it and exit. For standard account, you are limited to only having 5 quizzes, unfortunately. So I'll delete the test quiz I've created earlier. So click delete. And you can access your deleted quizzes here, and you can restore them if you have a pro subscription. For every teacher, there's a unique room code. Mine is Louise821. This is what the students will use to enter a room so that they can access the ongoing quiz started by the teacher. There's also a QR code, not only room code. We'll try to launch a quiz. I'm going to click on the quiz and collect the quiz. So this is what I've done. The pre-test. So let's check it first. The pre-test for our Angular Fundamentals training is based on 4 levels of Bloom's taxonomy, such as remembering, understanding, applying, and analyzing. So we see here in the explanation section, I added explanation per question. There are also hyperlinks to additional resources and documentation for learners who wish to delve deeper into the material. They can just easily click it to know about the specific topic. Here's the questions. I also added, and we can also add code snippets here. For example, an Angular code snippet. This is an example component demonstrating JavaScript's push function. So we can also add code snippets here. For example, an Angular code snippet. 17 to 20 assess participants' analytical skills. This example here, the ng on init, provides instant feedback. To launch a quiz, we go back to Launch tab again and select the pretest. After selecting, you'll have different buttons to toggle based on your preferences. You can choose instant feedback, wherein you'll immediately see the description of the correct answer. I can require names or not, and choose different options, and also delivery methods. For instant feedback, students immediately see the description of the correct answer. For open navigation, students have the control to paste back and forth, but they won't see immediate feedback. And lastly, for teacher praised, I am the one who has control over the quiz. So I'll choose the instant feedback and launch this quiz. Here it is. You can see the live results, how many students are in the room. You can see their correct answers as well per question. So for the student's point of view, they don't need to log in. They just need to enter the room code since I toggled required for names. Learners who enter the room will be asked to enter their names. I launched the pretest earlier, so it is the quiz they are going to see. So here the feedback pops out the hyperlink they can click. So again, and then we will try to answer it again and again. You can see the immediate feedback. So while the students answer the quiz, the teacher can see the live results in the table, whether they have answered it correctly or not. Let's try to choose an incorrect answer here. So this is what happens. The correct answer was given below, as well as the description or explanation of the correct answer. So I'll answer again, and it will reflect on the table. So just checking of results there. So while they are choosing their answers, it will easily reflect here on the other window. For questions 17 to 20, as aforementioned, I've added code snippets, so this is how they can view it. They just need to click the photo. After taking the quiz, the teacher can finish the activity and export the results. Just click Finish button and then Export the Results button. Click Download. Let's look at the Excel file. Here is the table of results per students. You can see the overall percentage and scores. You can also see the numbers where they got the answer wrong. You can check it one by one. Here, I'm scrolling it. Alright, so let's go back. So there are a lot of options to choose, but you need to upgrade. There's also a nice feature where you can email it directly to students, but you need a pro subscription to do that. Alright, so I think that's about it. This is how Socrative works. here's the rubrics for Socrative. The pre-test and post-test are structured to evaluate different levels of cognitive skills as per Bloom's taxonomy. This helps in assessing the participants' knowledge and understanding of Angular fundamentals as well as their ability to apply and analyze this knowledge. For the Bloom's taxonomy levels and scoring criteria, first one is the remembering, questions 1 to 8. This level focuses on assessing participants' ability to recall fundamental concepts and facts about Angular and TypeScript. So this includes straightforward questions that test memory and recognition. So this level focuses on assessing participants' ability to recall fundamentals, concepts, and facts about Angular and TypeScript. It includes straightforward questions that test memory and recognition. The second one is the understanding, questions 9 to 12. So this level evaluates comprehension. Participants are required to demonstrate their understanding of key ideas and features of Angular and TypeScript, showing they can grasp the meaning behind the information. So the third one is applying, questions 13 to 16. This level assesses participants' ability to use their knowledge in real-world situations. They must apply what they have learned about Angular and TypeScript to solve practical problems or tasks. The fourth one is analyzing, questions 17 to 20. So at this level, participants are tested on their analytical skills. They need to break down information into parts, understand its structure, and draw conclusions based on their analysis of Angular and TypeScript code and scenarios. So for the overall scoring, the total score for the test is 20 points, with each correct answer contributing 1 point. So throughout the training program, there's also an ongoing formative assessment in addition to the pre-test and post-test. These formative assessments consist of multiple choice questions and other question types that follow the same criteria as the pre-test and post-test. These assessments are designed to reinforce learning and provide continuous feedback to the instructor and participants. So I'm going to present to you now what is a Scrimba. It is an interactive coding platform and it offers several courses as well. But what sets Scrimba apart is the ability to create scrims. So to give you an example of a scrim or a tutorial here, let's look at JavaScript tutorial. So let's try this. So write your first JavaScript variable, right? So this is an interactive screen or screencast. I'll play the video as an example.
It's actually a really important day in your life because you're going to write your first lines of JavaScript. And that is just such a powerful thing to do because you take the first step into a world of opportunities and it might even change your life. So in a year, you might want to celebrate this day as the anniversary, the day you met JavaScript and changed your life for the better. Anyway, the line you're going to write is not this long one right here. It's a little bit too difficult at the moment. I'm actually going to add a double.
So I can pause the video, modify the code as well while the instructor is saying something.
And you can see that graded out.
I can also modify the code here. So let's say console.log hello world. And see the changes in real time. So I'll run it. There. That's the hello world. The yellow indicator here, I added notes or scribble. Basically, they call it a scribble. It is just another here in Scrimba as notes. So you added notes in this specific timestamp. To save the scribble, you can commit it. Commit is just another term for save. You can also rename it. Let's say I added hello world. Our commit message would be fit add hello world using console log and save it. So this is how easy to interact with scrims or code tutorials. So this is how easy to modify the code while also learning to code. So for the teacher's perspective, let's create a scrim. New scrim. Again, select a coding environment you want to use. You can use JavaScript, TypeScript, but I've already added an Angular template with it. And use this template. So now you can start recording your scrim and narrate your coding process. So what's nice about this is you can record your coding sessions and turn it into an interactive scrim where students can pause, modify their code, and see real-time results. You can also add annotations as well, scribbles, to highlight important concepts, or if you don't understand something, you can add notes and commit it. You can also provide template for tasks to students, so template can serve as a starting point for assignments, ensuring learners can focus on learning specific concepts rather than setting up their environment. So this is an easy way. You can set it in different kinds such as template or solution, or just merely a playground that students can play with. But here we can set it as template and set the privacy to unlisted so that you can just send the link to the students. So the students can also access it anytime and anywhere. And then save it. So in my assessment prototype, we have two different coding tasks, the generation and completion. So for the generation, the teachers can provide a basic template, just like what I did. So this is the Angular template that I did in version 18. So the teachers can also provide the link for the template, and students can fork it into a new scrim. This is an important step since in every template, they need to fork the scrim so that they can save it in their own account. So I'll provide an example. So let's say, so this is my Angular template. Copy the link of the scrim. And then this is the student perspective. And then I'm going to paste the link here. So this, as a student, is my teacher's scrim or template. I can fork it, fork. So it's navigating, and there, it changed to a different name, meaning so it's now yours. Basically, fork. It's just saying you copied and pasted it in your account. That's the simplest way to explain fork. So as a student, you now have the ability to change it. So let's say, let's modify this template and display hello world. Okay, there. To share the screen, you can go back to your account. Here, the proud son, and copy the link of the screen and share it to others for feedback. So there, that's how you can use the Scrimba. Alright, so let's discuss now the weekly scoring criteria. In coding, having clear criteria is essential so that students know how to structure their code and meet learning objectives. So this scoring criteria provides this guidance, ensuring that students understand what is expected of them and how their work will be evaluated. So here is the week 1, as you can see here in my presentation. We focus on the Angular CLI, components, and templates, assessing their command usage, component creation, template syntax, and problem-solving abilities. So for the week 2, it covers data binding, directives, services, and dependency injection, with similar criteria tailored to these topics. Now let's go to the week 3. So this evaluates routing setup, navigation, and HTTP request. So for the last week, which is the week 4, it is the review week where students are assessed on their overall understanding and retention of key concepts from the previous weeks. Each week, students can earn up to 20 points based on their performance in these areas. Now let's go to the learning theories. In the study by Black and William, which reviewed over 250 studies, it was demonstrated that formative assessment, in contrast to summative assessments, have a significantly greater impact on student learning. Constructivism is a learning theory that encourages active participation because students iteratively construct their knowledge, building upon the students' existing knowledge. The constructivist assumption is that teachers should move beyond traditional instruction and instead design learning environments where students engage actively with the content. This involves facilitating opportunities for learners to interact with materials and collaborate with others. In my prototype, so learners construct their understanding of Angular by working on real-world coding tasks, integrating new information with their existing knowledge. By incorporating coding tasks that reflect real-world scenarios, learners see the practical application of Angular, making the learning experience more meaningful. Additionally, regular feedback plays a crucial role in this process. It enables students to track their performance over time, identify their strengths, and recognize areas for improvement. This feedback supports the constructivist approach by guiding learners through reflection and self-assessment, further enhancing their active engagement and knowledge construction. Self-regulated learning refers to the process by which learners take control of their own learning activities. Students are encouraged to become self-regulated learners by setting goals, monitoring, and evaluating their progress, and going beyond basic requirements to explore their interests. So in my prototype, which involves learning Angular through continuous formative assessments like quizzes, multiple choice questions, and coding tasks, self-regulated learning is particularly important. Self-regulated learners use feedback to adjust their strategies and improve their understanding. For the cognitive load theory, key principle of this theory is the limited capacity of working memory, which can only handle a certain amount of information at a time. In the context of Angular fundamentals training, the principles of cognitive load theory are essential to ensure effective learning. In the context of Angular fundamentals training, the principles of cognitive load theory are essential to ensure effective learning. Given that programming is a complex and skill-intensive subject, learners are likely to experience significant cognitive load. To mitigate this, the training program is structured using a modular training strategy, breaking down complex topics into manageable units. Formative assessments such as quizzes and coding tasks aligns well with CLT by providing regular opportunities for students to process information and receive feedback. These assessments are designed to be manageable and relevant to the current topics, preventing cognitive overload and promoting gradual knowledge acquisition. For the educational technologies, when selecting educational technology, it is crucial to consider how well it supports the learning objectives and enhances the instructional process. To systematically evaluate and select the most appropriate technologies, we can use established models such as the sections model by Bates. It is user-friendly and straightforward for students. They just need the room code and can start answering quizzes. It is easy to set up and use. Also, the cost offers a free version with limited features. However, the premium versions are costly. Mitigation: assess the necessity of premium features and have a budget allocation if essential. For the teaching functions, it is good for quizzes and immediate feedback, but may not support complex assessment types. Mitigation supplement with other platforms for diverse assessment types. And then for the interaction, provides real-time feedback. The results can be downloaded easily. There are also interactive elements such as space race, but still limited in other collaborative or interactive activities. For the mitigation, pair with tools that support collaborative work like Zoom, so students can interact with each other while doing a certain task. For the organizational issues, fits well in most settings but may not integrate seamlessly with other systems or LMS. Mitigation, check integration capabilities beforehand and plan for manual data transfers if necessary. Networking provides real-time feedback and assessment, supporting interaction within the course. However, it does not directly facilitate networking beyond the immediate educational context. Mitigation combines Socrative with platforms like forums, like online forums or community groups where students can discuss their experiences and insights, fostering external connections. For the security and privacy, data encryption and secure login procedure to protect user information. Now let's go to the Scrimba. Under the Scrimba, students may have a learning curve for those unfamiliar with interactive coding platform. Mitigation offer introductory sessions and tutorials to help students get accustomed to the platform. It is also intuitive for those familiar with coding, however less for the beginners. Mitigation provide additional support and resources for beginners to ease their learning curve. For the cost, it is free tier available but advanced features require a subscription as well. Mitigation evaluate the necessity of premium features and plan for budgeting accordingly. Teaching functions, excellent for interactive coding and projects but lacks other assessment forms. Mitigation combined with other platforms for varied assessment forms such as quizzes or written assignments. Interaction, highly interactive but may be limited in real-time feedback and discussion. Mitigation used in conjunction with live sessions or discussion forum to enhance real-time interaction. For the organizational issues, it works well in tech-centric environments but may not fit all educational settings. Mitigation ensure the platform aligns with the course requirements and provide necessary training for both students and instructors. For the networking, Scrimba provides an interactive coding environment and has a dedicated Discord community where learners can engage with other students and instructors. This community aspect supports peer support, collaboration, and discussion beyond the immediate course. However, for the security and privacy, data encryption and secure login procedure to protect user information. Now let's talk about the issues and problems. First is the deployment issues. So under the deployment issues is the connectivity issues. Learners may encounter slow network or website issues such as bugs or slow loading time. Next is the technical complexity. Learners can find Angular a challenging framework to work with. Let's proceed to the preserving the interview. Under of this topic is the programming plagiarism and collusion. So with the rise of advanced AI tools like ChatGPT, issues of academic integrity in programming assignments have become increasingly relevant. So programming plagiarism involves students copying code from external sources or peers and presenting it as their own. This could include using code generated by AI tools without proper citation. So collusion occurs when students work together on tasks meant to be completed individually, such as sharing code or solutions, which undermines the fairness of the assessment. To address these issues, one effective strategy is to use platforms like Scrimba. The Scrimba allows students to record their coding process and provide explanations while coding. This not only helps instructors understand the students' thought process, but also ensures that the work submitted is genuinely their own. By documenting their work and explaining their coding decisions, students can demonstrate their individual understanding and originality, which helps maintain academic academic integrity in the face of advanced AI tools. Next is the possible resolutions. Under of this topic is the crafting assignments that are challenging to copy and utilize plagiarism detection tools. Next is to require students to explain their code through scripts. Next one is collecting response or data. Under this is the analysis and interpretation. So analyzing responses to coding tasks can be more challenging due to the volume of submissions and the need for detailed feedback. Now let's go to the reporting system. For the employees receive detailed reports outlining their overall performance, including strengths and areas needing improvement. Insights are provided to help them understand where they went wrong and how to address these issues. For their line managers, aggregated reports, detailed feedback on each employee's performance, insights for improvement, and recommendations for further training or development. Use and consequences of results. We have the performance improvement plan or the PIP. If an employee fails the assessment, a performance improvement plan is created. So this plan is tailored to address specific areas where the employee needs improvement. So the employee's line manager reviews the PIP with the employee, discussing the feedback and setting goals for improvement. So, based on the results, adjustments may be made to the training content, delivery methods, or support resources to enhance the program's effectiveness. Next one is the incidence of cheating. So, in our company, all screens and messengers like in Zoom meetings, they are monitored by our compliance department to ensure the privacy and safety of our bank, especially since we are part of the private banking side. It is crucial to maintain security. So if cheating is detected, it is documented and reported. And after the third incident, termination of the contract is enforced. This rigorous approach ensures the integrity of our training program and upholds our commitment to ethical standards. We inform relevant stakeholders, including line managers and HR, about the incidents and actions taken. Participants receive feedback emphasizing the importance of academic integrity. Alright, thank you very much for listening and have a nice day, everyone.